Rahul, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Let's really dive in.
Good to be here and super excited.
Perfect. I've been, of course, researching a bit on what's going on in Siemens Smart Building, and I've seen that you released a white paper lately on Building X, and the numbers that I've seen is like, it's crazy. 39% of emissions is buildings only, right, from construction, but also from what's been used later to heat up and to make light, and 50% is wasted energy. So the impact of, let's say, smart buildings is massive. So tell us a little bit, what's your drive to actively contribute to this massive change that's possible there?
Well, thank you. Everything starts with metrics, right, Marcus? About 40% of the energy in the world is buildings. We spend 90% of our life in the building. 75% of the buildings on the world are inefficient, where the energy consumption per square feet is 30 to 40% more than what it can be. So the opportunity is phenomenal, and we have to take the step in this direction today, so that we have the results in 5 years from now. If we don't sow the seed today for optimizing our buildings, for changing the way we live in our buildings, then I think 5 years from now we don't see the impact, and then as humanity, as a society, we miss our all sustainability targets, our net zero targets, and so on. So that's the mission that we are on, which is optimizing building by building, customer by customer, their fleet of buildings, providing them, the step one, which is simply providing them visibility into how their buildings are operating. It's like, Marcus, I would say that it's like going to a doctor's office.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the doctor's office, the doctor takes blood out of your body and says, oh, you have high cholesterol. Immediately from next day onwards, you would start eating better, you would start exercising, you would automatically reduce your cholesterol.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Step one, we're just telling the customers that, look, guys, your buildings are inefficient, they're consuming more energy, they should be on the path to becoming net zero. And if you don't take action now, you will miss your targets and so on. So just that visibility is helping the step one of transformation. And then we have the step two, the step three, the step four, which is much like the doctor says, hey, take this medicine,
Take this
and your
pills.
cholesterol will come down. And oh, by the way, here's the lifestyle you need to lead. Very prescriptive. Wake up at this time, exercise this time. We need a dietitian,
Yeah.
blah, blah, so on. So we get into those steps subsequently.
So you say the first step you do with the clients is simply showing them by metrics and by hard facts on what their buildings are actually wasting, where there's potential to save.
Absolutely. First is a report card. How are you performing?
Yeah.
And then most of our customers don't have one building.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody gets into a business and says, oh, I have one building and I'm going to rent it out to a big company. They probably tend to have a 50 building, 100 building, 300 building portfolio.
Yeah.
So we have to then even benchmark them against building one, against building two, against building
Mm-hmm.
three. And then they're able to see, oh, building one is being managed by facility manager Jose, building two is by Mike, building three is by Rahul, and building four is by Marcus. Looks like, Mike is not performing by well, her building energy consumption is too high. And so they're benchmarking internally.
Yeah.
And you're gamifying across their portfolio. So the portfolio manager could now gamify the operations of all the buildings and say, hey, you're all at here's your report card. You guys, you have the highest energy, you have the most operations cost, you have the most poor sustainability, you have the lowest security,
Yep.
You have the lowest safety, your air quality is the worst, and now you know where you need to focus, what you need to improve, because every building is different.
It's funny that you talk about gamification. I had in another podcast episode with Joe Justice, when we talked about Tesla and SpaceX, he brought up the same topic. He said, basically what we need to do is to also bring this more into the people's head, is to gamify, right? We are used to playing video games on our smartphones. We have been playing games since we are kids, right? So why don't we also gamify smart buildings and the scorecards of measuring how well our buildings do in our portfolio?
Absolutely, it makes their life fun. makes the life fun, and that is important piece of transformation. If transformation is boring, nobody wants to do it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Transformation has to be fun. How do you transport this in your own organization, right? I believe that you have a colorful vision of the future, right? I mean, you are at the forefront, you are showing everyone what's possible in the future, but how do you transport this engagement, this vision down to, let's say, the developer writing the code for the scorecard, or the ops team doing the service with the end customers if something is not working well?
Absolutely, Marcus. The what we have learned is that if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far and further, you go with the whole crew.
You go together, yeah.
So at Siemens, we want to go far. We want to go far with our customers. We're going to be here for the next 100 years and a lot more. And why do customers buy from us? Because we've got their back. So we want to go far, which means we have to take everyone together, and we have to go on this mission step by step. And then that's a transformation journey. And so within this transformation journey, we do some very fundamental things to enable change management. Like in my team, with all the entire organization, I've implemented a fail fast ideology, which means if you take a risk and you fail in 2 months, and when we'll approve almost everything that is sane, right? So we've worked in the buildings industry for 25 years. So we have a good amount of judgment where we invest and what will result in some amount of profitability for our customers. So we apply the fail fast ideology, and then we give freedom to the teams to operate and come up with the innovative products and so on. And if it doesn't go anywhere, okay, no problem. Work on the next one. And what happens? It's much like entrepreneurship, which is that a serial entrepreneur starts with a product, fails, but learns a lot of lessons. Second time fails, third time fails, but the fourth time they hit it out of the ballpark and they make $1 billion unicorn, and because they've learned the lessons. So that's the ideology we are inculcating in the team from a transformation perspective. And then apart from that, quick decision making and risk taking appetite, which is that if it's a 100K loss or if it's a 100K investment, make a decision quick, make it in 1 week, and run with it. If it's 500K, bring in 5 more people. Let's make a decision in 3 weeks. But please make a decision in 3 weeks. Don't drag it for 6 months, and so on. So like this, we have instrumented very simple, basic measures, and we are trying to push this into the organization, into the team members to enable this. And the last thing is that many of our customers also, it's like the iPhone era, right? When 25 years ago, when the iPhone came out or so, I had a BlackBerry, and my company came and gave me an iPhone. And I said, nah, I really don't want the iPhone. I'm very happy with the BlackBerry.
I need a keyboard.
And the keyboard, right? I'm very happy with this and not that.
Yeah.
And many of our customers are in that mindset. So some of them, we have to educate them. Some of them we have to learn with and help them in the transformation. Some of them we have to show the vision that, hey, the world is headed this way. Your peers have bought this, others have bought this, and they are on this digital transformation, which means they will be profitable 5 years from now, but your profitability will be lower because you still have a facility manager with a bunch of keychains walking around every floor, opening the doors and checking everything manually and making notes. It's time to automation. So yeah, these are some of the things that we are inculcating.
So getting this high engagement from your team and this willingness to take risk takes, we can use different words, psychological safety. The team needs to feel safe that they can really make the shot and not get fired in the end, right? If they really make a bigger mistake. So what do you do to ensure that the team really feels safe to making the decision on a 100K invest that could also turn out to be a total failure in a month's time?
Yeah. So what we'll end up doing is that we've established some priorities for the team. So we've established some guardrails. That guys, we're going to go after this segment with this type of business, with this type of customer profile. So now we know the guardrails. So it's not like the team is going and shooting anywhere under the star, right? They know that, okay, I'm an innovator. I want to do something fun. It needs to be in this guardrail. And then so like we have a budget, we invest millions of dollars. Every team has their own budget. So I've given that budget down to the organization. And I've said, oh, team A, out of the 100 million that we have, and I'm just throwing some numbers, you have 5 million, you have 3, you have 15, you have 20, you have 6.
Yeah.
And then within that, they have sub-managers, each has their own budget.
Yeah.
And within that budget, we allow them to experiment, and then we measure them on KPIs and returns and so on. So there is checks and balances to ensure that we're just not throwing our investment, but we are investing in the right area, and then we're learning quickly from it. So what ends up happening is, let's say we need to do a 100K investment on 5 software engineers or scrum teams, or 1 scrum team for a period of 3 months to build a prototype.
Yeah.
Or to build a software for something. What we say is that very tactically we say that, okay, after you build the first wireframe, which will only consume $10,000 of that investment out of the 100K, go take it to a customer and let the customer give you some feedback. That, hey, dear customer, I built this go-kart. It doesn't work yet, but do you think you would drive it? And if the customer says yes, go ask another one. So after you've got that confidence from 4 or 5 customers that yes, I can, go invest your next 30K and transfer your wireframe into maybe
something that actually works.
Bare bones prototype. So put your engine on the go-kart, then take it back to the customer. Do you like it? Now they have skin in the game.
Yeah. So right, really iterative development cycle, including the customer.
Yeah. So you don't fail with the full 100K down the drain. You fail with a smaller amount, and then you learn from it and you pivot. So giving this freedom to the organization not only helps transform it, but helps retain them, helps motivate them. They are willing to work longer hours. They're willing to invest their time and money. They make it passionate. They have ownership, extreme ownership of it. And these are things that help a business succeed.
And you also have the ability ingrained in the organization that whatever the world throws at us, they are able to change. So they don't have to wait for a project manager to provide the proposal or to provide the green lights for a go. They can make the decision themselves.
That is true. If every decision is a central authority, then the bottlenecks will slow the organization down. Some have to be there. Some are required, but some decisions we empower our teams and we allow them to make decisions, and then also sometimes running a flat organization helps, where you have visibility to like I have visibility to every 250K investment. I know, but below that I don't have visibility, and then the teams are running it, so it's okay. We trust that.
Okay. So that sounds like everything is fantastically great at Siemens, right? You have Scrum teams, they are your flat organization, everyone can spend the money they like as long as it's within the boundaries. But I'm sure there's things that grind. There's things in the gearbox that don't work that smoothly. So without telling too many details or too many secrets out of your daily life, what would be the things that you would like to improve, or that you're actually working on to improve, to make it even smoother and more adaptive for everyone?
No, absolutely. Look, the first thing is that we have close relations with our customers, but the customers are tough. I mean, they want products, and this is good because they push us towards excellence. Yep. So it's not like we build this go-kart and we take it to a customer and they love it. They will give you critical feedback. I mean, Marcus, they will tell you that your go-kart doesn't work, and they sat in it and it's spoiled halfway, and 100 things happened, and the seat is not comfortable. This is not good. I trusted you. I spent 3 hours with you yesterday. I spent 2 months with you when you built this. So it's not easy, right? So it's a journey, but there's fire in us, and so we overcome that. And then Siemens is a large organization, and when you move with people together so that you can go further, you spend a lot of time in alignments. You spend a lot of time in bringing the rest of the crew on board, and everyone has a nuance and an opinion and an experience that they bring to the plate. What that does is that the pro is that process ensures rigor, and it ensures quality, and it ensures that what you pump out of the door will be good and it works.
Yep.
The downside is that it'll take more time, and then the customer on the other end will complain that, look, I signed up for that and you don't have it on time. And so there are pros and cons, and you have to push and pull and balance it. And those are struggles that we go through, every single day. If I had a magic button in Siemens, And in our thing, I would like to really understand, be able to meet hundreds of customers on day one and get their feedback as to what are the challenges that they face every single day,
Mhm.
and then take those challenges and solve for them through software. That would
Mhm.
be, we get that feedback, but I'd like to all in one go sit with the team and say, hey guys, this is the North Star. This is it. If we solve for this, this is the Holy Grail. But unfortunately, that's never the situation. It's everyone has a different mind. Everyone wants a different color car, different color engine, a different horsepower engine, number of seats, number of
Yeah.
windows, all these configurations. And then how do you build them intelligently so that it's repeatable? That's another challenge that we face, is that everyone wants a different car, but we need to have one assembly line with the developers that we have.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I
uh,
think this might be an industry topic in general, right? So the industry is seeking for fast customer feedback and wants this fast. I believe not every company is able to move that fast on feedback. So I've worked with companies where I've seen that despite having massive amount of feedback getting from the customers, they are not able to move or they are not able to adapt, right? I think this is clearly a strength. Regardless, it takes some steering also from the strategy perspective to really make sure that also the customer feedback is not going in a wrong direction, in a way that your strategy needs to adapt to what the customers want, right? Because in the end, your customer is buying your products and your customer is paying for our salaries. So I think strategy also needs to adapt in the face of what the customers want. And I've seen that in industry, maybe less so with IT, but more so when it comes to hardware. And Siemens is not only doing software, it's also doing hardware, where strategy becomes more as the oracle, and we hope that for the next 5 years the plan still holds. And then we look in the back mirror and find, oh, we might have, or we should have adapted our plan in between.
yeah, yeah. You know what? In hardware, the cycles are long. It takes let's say we build a car for you. The risk of the car failing on a highway with traffic behind you, and the consequence of that risk is very high.
Yeah.
But in software, we have the flexibility of being more agile and adaptable. So what this means is that I lock my roadmaps in software development work for 1 quarter, for 4 months in stone. But then 4 months out, for the second quarter, we lock only 50 to 60% in stone,
Yeah.
which means 40% is flexible, which
Yeah.
means if suddenly a customer demand comes in and that demand is valid and is repeatable and scalable, and
Yeah.
we is that, oh, we didn't think of this 6 months ago, but you know what? Now we thought of it, so now we have 40% capacity to address it.
Mhm.
And then 3 quarters out, only 25% of your capacity is locked in,
Yeah.
available to do something else. We have that flexibility in software, and then also the fixes are rather quick. What this means is that, let's say your car falls on the highway and there's a recall. It's a long cycle before that component gets changed and
Yeah.
designed with the component,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
take an appointment at the dealership and so on. In software, we have the flexibility to make these changes in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and push them down
Yeah.
to the customer, and so on. So the risk taking appetite is a little higher.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the adaptiveness, and I believe that from what I've been hearing in the past is that if your strategy is able to adapt on a quarterly scale, like every quarter you might be doing, I know, PI planning if you are running in a safe type of manner. That's what I roughly got. You talked about Scrum and you talked about
Yes.
these development cycles. So might be a PI planning involved somewhere.
Yeah. It's like this, right? I want to go to the moon. The moon is right there. Okay, let's get in the rocket ship. Let's go there. It's going to take me 5 days to get there, and I'll steer on the way. I don't need to chart the
Yeah.
entire path
Yeah,
down on
exactly.
day one, which will take me 2 years to chart.
Yeah.
So now, and then it's a risk-taking appetite.
Yeah.
Do you want to take that risk?
Yeah. That takes clear vision from the strategy side, that also takes clear coordination between the teams, which can be done through quarterly planning or any other way of visualization along the way. Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now let's take a look back to, now we've talked about strategy at Siemens, we talked about execution, we talked about adaptiveness of the teams and how well they are empowered to make their own decisions and fail fast. What I would like to see is Siemens has a lot of expertise in this field of smart buildings. Now we are really taking a step back to the beginning of our conversation. And you mentioned that there's goals for companies so that they want to follow. What would be one or two tips that you could give a company that does not simply want to put a green logo on their website and kind of do some greenwashing by buying certificates, but really doing the real deal of saving energy, saving CO2 emissions? What would be the 1-2 tips that you would give them to like really start off and then take the second and third step?
Absolutely. Look, the first thing is that the future of buildings is a sustainable, autonomous, profitable building. So if you don't have sustainability in the future, if you don't have some portion of autonomous nature in your building in the future, then you won't be a profitable building. Mm-hmm. If you're not a profitable building, then you're going to have more expenses and you'll be out of business, mm-hmm. or your peers will beat you to the business. Mm-hmm. That's the life of a mm-hmm. portfolio manager and so on. So that realization has to hit all the companies that, hey, if we don't go on this path, my profitability numbers will drop in the next few years. So in comes solutions like Building X, where essentially what we're doing is we are your iPhone is like a building, and the Apple operating system in the iPhone is Building X, and all the applications on your iPhone are like the Building X applications. So we are deploying these applications on buildings, and a facility manager now can manage 10 facilities from a coffee shop and look at the energy consumption of 5 buildings and make decisions. In the past, you would need 10 people to make these decisions. Yeah. Now you have software enabled with AI giving you these decisions at your fingertips, with one person can manage 10 buildings. And so now cost of maintenance of the building goes down, yeah. Profitability goes up. So this is the future. If you don't embark on this future now, then it'll be too late from profitability, yeah. Playing catch up. So my recommendation to all portfolio managers, to all companies that own portfolios, buildings, maintain, manage them, is just start on this journey today. Mm-hmm. Invest in a digital solution mm-hmm. that gives you visibility, and invest in a digital solution that is not a point solution, so that you're not left hanging. So yeah. What I mean is that don't just buy energy manager from someone that will not connect into a future sustainability manager, that will not connect into a future operations manager, mm-hmm. that will not connect into a future security manager, that will not connect into full visibility at a portfolio mm-hmm. level. And that's why the vision of Siemens with our Building X platform is that once you onboard on the platform and you say, hey, my energy consumption is high, I just need energy manager. Okay, great. Deploy energy manager, reduce your energy consumption. Mm-hmm. A year later, you'll have a security event and you'll say, well, I need to have better secure operations. So you'll have security manager, yeah. Open on the same platform, then sustainability and so on. So it becomes a Lego block style approach. And my recommendation is, please start on the journey today and you'll be pleasantly surprised. You'll thank yourself for doing it 5 years later.
Okay. So really start small, start by measuring and make it visible.
Absolutely.
Cool. Rahul, our time is over. Thank you very much for a fascinating talk. I didn't think that building technology can have so many secrets and so many magic poses. And I'm glad that you gave me the time and gave me the chance to ask you some great questions on Siemens and on strategy at Siemens. Thank you very much, Rahul.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you.